Having an eating disorder was the start of a war against myself, the dark night of the soul, the spiritual awakening process. I literally would call it like that, seeing it now from a broader perspective. And it started 8 years ago. And now we have 2026, and honestly, I still have some tendencies to eat quite distortedly. Because I don't know what normal eating looks like. I don't know if there even is a normal, because society promotes thousands of diet rules, dietary recommendations, and information regarding how to eat healthy and right. Whatever that may mean. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how to fuel properly. Because the moment you are in this game of distorted eating, your worldview is all about control and perfection. And why did it start in the first place? From anorexia to bulimia to orthorexia, and in between having some really bad depressive episodes? Well, for my whole life, I felt pressured to embody this flawless, disciplined, and strong version of myself. Good in everything, having good grades, working hard, creating great outcomes, being a good daughter, serving my family, and helping like I was the provider, trying to save everyone, trying to be there for everyone, and going through some pretty traumatic experiences that left me burdened. I felt like I had to hide the flawed, wounded parts of myself and could only show the version of me that was good, strong, and easy for others to accept. Only this one deserves to be seen. I never felt enough. I always feel like every time I did well in school, my parents asked for better results, and my schoolmates, quote unquote friends, looked at me like I was their threat. They wanted to be better than me for some reason. Like, they showed it passively in actions where I was just wondering, like, why? Why are you comparing yourself with me? And I was used in so many ways, yet I thought I was just being generous and kind, which was not the case. I was just being naive. Being naive kept me thinking that everybody had good intentions. But unfortunately, being naive and kind made me softer and easier to take advantage of. Controlled by others' seemingly kind intentions, which were actually treacherous. They did things that made me question myself. I always had this need to please, to change for someone, or to fit in, and to constantly show up as the good girl. Like the way I grew up, it was all about working hard to get good results, all about people comparing me, judging my inadequacies, and making me question my worth. I downgraded my success because some people around me felt offended by my rising, or just pretended that my rising wasn't that big of a deal, so I thought my success was nothing. Instead of cheering me on, people around me got more jealous and competitive. And here we are. Maybe that's why I have an eating disorder. The older I got, the more aware and conscious I became of my body. I thought this needed to be fixed to perfection as well. Apparently, the start of K-pop culture made me lose a lot of weight because I thought fat was seen as weak and not praised, aka being an Asian, you take this to heart. And I would assume that this was the start of a mental war in many insecure girls around the world, one that slowly trapped them in an eating disorder pattern. From healthy dieting, it became chronic undereating. I mean, it started small, like you take on this character of someone who just wants to lose a bit of weight. But slowly with time, we become more and more possessed and obsessed with goals that are no longer realistic. Yet we can't see through because our view got more distorted and dysmorphic than ever before. We lost the capability to see clearly because we are blinded by an undeniable urge, a yearning of wanting to achieve an outcome that is in truth delusional. We became increasingly unconscious from what is real, feeding a controlling, mentally sick beast. That is the beliefs society taught us that we eventually turned against ourselves. And over time, they become like a living entity in your head, a demon that controls us from the inside in every possible way. So that every action I took and every choice I made was influenced by this entity that I created in my mind, fueled by my life energies. And nobody was going to stop me from losing more and more weight. That was how I thought back then, in a state of complete delusion, a dissociation from reality, literally. And this is also how society works, controlling us by creating manufactured insecurities and fears, those quote-unquote mental entities that make us question ourselves and slowly take our power away. So the moment you buy into that distraction and separate yourself from your true self, from who you really are, you are creating and fueling a controlling entity within you, keeping you disempowered, distracted, and small, chained in an imaginary prison. These are all living mental entities that are keeping you in a controlled, safe state. Society wants to control its people. The government wants to control its people. What is praised and held up as the standard is itself a form of controlling minds. Like lots of celebrities, famous people who are promoting a certain appearance, a certain status, and so on, are indeed manipulating and ridiculing parts of society into thinking that who you are is not enough, and you need to fix that. All the Ozempic stuff, GLP-1s, Botox, fillers, cosmetic procedures in general, and anti-aging products that are getting more and more popular just exist because people are getting more and more insecure and don't feel safe and enough for being who they are. Constantly, they are distracting themselves with an image, trying to survive and fix this physical outer layer and not letting themselves see through the veil of illusions and control. Most of the problems in this world are created by us humans, mostly for financial gain and power. Someone created it and we became the slaves to it. And society is pretty good at creating those negative entities, but I feel that more and more people are becoming more aware of the lies about reality and are slowly waking up to the truth. Only those who are more receptive, who don't ask the real questions, and are fragile-minded are the ones who are easily targeted, unfortunately. And here I was, 15, 16 years old, being consistent in losing the weight, working out like I was a freaking machine, and slowly neglecting all of my mom's cooking, telling her that I was just full. I started to eat like a nibbling princess in escargot snail speed style. And the more I was in it, the more I had this urgency to lose faster, and I started using calorie trackers and counting everything I ate obsessively. And slowly, normal wasn't normal anymore, and I was trapped in a rabbit hole the moment my family got very concerned about my low body weight and started questioning my weird behaviors. Every time it was time to eat, we got into a big fight around the amount of food I wanted to consume. It escalated so much that one day my mom, who was on antidepressants back then, forced me to weigh myself in front of her. Little side note, she had depression years beforehand, and me, as the oldest daughter in the house, had to deal with a lot of complicated, conflicting situations that was pretty burdensome for a young teenager. My dad was not that supportive and kind of ridiculed her mental well-being. Back to the story. So she was absolutely speechless when she saw how little I weighed. I don't want to mention any numbers cause it can trigger a lot of people, so I better shut my mouth around that. And the rest is history. She took me to see our family doctor, and immediately I was sent to rehab. Man, I bawled my eyes out and cried so hard begging my mom not to let me stop school. Yet here we were in this rehab clinic sitting next to the senior rehab physician that I absolutely hated, and she forced me to stay. Of course, I could do nothing about it because I was not of legal age. I stayed there for 3 months in constant aversion, not wanting to gain back the weight I had worked so hard for. And for 3 months, I wasn't in school, and the pressure to keep up was haunting me. Like back then, I was pretty good in school, I would say. There was a time where I even enjoyed school more than the vacation period. Literally. That was me in class. Pretty happy, energetic, and just having fun, I think. Or is it just a mask? I don't know. But the moment I bounced from rehab back to school, everything felt 10 times more difficult. I had to go to weekly weigh-ins because they needed to check if I was fine and not withdrawing, like going back to old patterns and losing the weight that I've gained in rehab. But here we are. When I came back home, it was no longer just anorexia. It was anorexia plus bulimia. Yes, I was super thin. Yes, I forced myself to eat, yet would throw it all up again. I mean, you all said I need to eat, so I ate and threw it up secretly every single time. I maintained the rapid weight loss after rehab by drinking gallons and gallons and gallons of water before going to weigh-ins at the doctor's office. And trust me, I felt horrible doing that. It was so messed up to the point where I felt like I was dying. But I didn't care enough because I was madly in love with staying sickly skinny. So I stubbornly had to do that every other week. Otherwise, I would be forced to go back to rehab. And I didn't want to, of course. Rehab didn't really help me. I resented that place, and all I was praying for was getting out of that shit as fast as possible. The consistent weigh-ins in the doctor's office stopped until Corona hit. And that was a time where freedom hit a little too hard and bulimia was at its peak. My weight dropped far more than before. I also think in general that the mental health crisis was exacerbated during the COVID-19 pandemic. Back to the story. So, my family started to see everything now, and they knew I was throwing up every fucking day. I even bought diuretics, yes, hit them, abused them, and you know what happens. I weighed myself every single day, checked myself in front of the mirror like a creep, and bought all the junk food I saw at the supermarket, knowing well enough that I would throw it all up again. My worried mom couldn't keep enduring watching her own daughter get sicker and sicker. I always told her I was fine. I was fine. I wasn't dying. What are you even talking about? I am breathing. I'm alive. You are exaggerating. Yet the truth was, I was madly sick. And I couldn't see that I was madly sick. Corona made the situation worse because it was all about isolation, you know? So only make a doctor's appointment when it was necessary. But still, my mom and dad secretly went out to see our family doctor and talked about the shit going on at home. Before their visit, my parents had been constantly pressuring me to behave, or else they would go to our family doctor. I said, I promised to behave, knowing full well that I would do it my own way. I was a fucking liar when I had an ED. I had no choice because I wanted it so badly, and my family, especially my mother, could no longer tolerate my nonsense when she realized that no matter how much she pushed me or just tried to help me, I wouldn't change at all until I faced the repercussions. And my dad, I really don't want to talk about him, but he thought I was just an annoying fool who was constantly stirring up drama and didn't know how to behave, but it was time to eat. He couldn't take me seriously, he just thought I was in his way. And I was just 16 back then. Of course, I had no right to say anything. And they just went. The next day, literally, the family doctor came to visit while I was sleeping in late. She rang the door and came up. I didn't know what was happening, yet the worst nightmare was now happening. She forced me to step onto the scale I had at home. And I said, please, 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 let me go to the toilet first. She said, no, knowing full well that I would drink tap water like a thirsty dog. And there I was, stepping on a scale, weighing below that I had before, begging her to let me stay at home and gain the weight back myself instead of going back to rehab. I bawled so hard, I cried the entire day after that happened, just to realize that I had to go back. I was immediately sent to rehab a second time. Well, this time, my case was far more severe, you know? So, I stayed there for another 3.5 months, not allowed to go to school or do anything. I felt like my world was crashing. This time, I had another psychiatrist at the clinic, but he couldn't help me either. I was in a constant fight against this guy, god damn it. They just don't get it, or I'm just too stubborn. But honestly, he really didn't get what I was feeling. That's just my opinion. it's not all about gaining the weight and I'm back to healthy. No, my mind wasn't healthy. The way I was functioning wasn't healthy. And yes, I was stubborn about changing anything about myself because I just couldn't understand why I should change or why I was wrong. And never before had I felt that lonely and misunderstood. And so I walked out of the clinic by cheating on the last weigh-ins, aka drinking water, hitting the weight they wanted, and so I got out. Of course, I still needed to be checked by weekly weigh-ins with my family doctor again, but this time it was no longer that easy to get out of it. Cause Corona was slowly fading, so there were no more random cancellations around that. Of course, when I came back home, I lost the weight immediately again. And surprise, surprise, needed to obsessively compensate by drinking a lot of water. Like I can't afford to go back to rehab the third time. No. I was so sick and fucking miserable that I needed to try to maintain a reasonable weight so I wasn't drowning in water in the early mornings before school, because the weigh-ins was always scheduled before school. I was in 11th grade back then, so I was around 17 years old, and slowly I reintroduced more food, forced myself to eat healthy, only to realize that food made my body miserable. Yes, it made me miserable because my body was constantly reacting because I had been starving it for so long and it no longer had the capacity to digest the food I consumed. It had lost some of the important digestive enzymes that are crucial for breaking down different types of food. I hadn't been eating much for so long, so my body stopped producing enzymes that were no longer needed. That's why I was always bloated, always gassy, immensely inflamed all the fucking time, plus the extra stress from life. Like goddammit, it was horrible. But of course, I hid what I felt. That's who I am. Suppressing and telling I was just fine. At the end of the day, my behavior became orthorexic. Yippee! Another milestone. And here I am asking the same question. How does a normal person eat when most of the people are eating distortedly in their own unique ways? Is there even a normal? If there is, I forgot mine. I was counting calories, cooking my own food instead of my mom's, starving myself like a homeless man until I hit a certain time to eat. I did low carb, intermittent fasting, keto, and plant-based diets, which led me to the conclusion that I will lose weight doing that, which led me to force myself to eat more calories, but only foods I felt okay and safe with. I tried to eat healthy all the time until my hunger became so ravenous after chronic dieting that I binged eat at night. I gained the weight and still felt disgusting. I was miserable, my body was miserable, and I was squishier than ever before for some reason, and I never felt peace between me and my body. And here I am, battling myself every fucking day, trying to understand myself, trying to make peace. And now that I'm 22 years old, I can say I'm better off than before, but there's still something missing. I'm still not there yet. I still judge some of my body parts, Like, I don't like my thighs pressing on one another. I don't like my protruding belly. Consistently am I looking at the parts that I want to change so badly. But I don't change it. I mean, the urge is not as prominent as before. And of course, I'm no longer anorexic, no longer bulimic, no longer a binge eater, and no longer that orthorexic. Yet of course, there are days I'm still kind of obsessed with fueling properly and perfectly for my body. Like something I can control, you know? And it's so important that you admit to yourself that you're still not there yet, that there's still room for improvement, and that you don't stagnate but keep trying to change your programming and belief systems. I know healing from an ED takes a long time, but instead of masking your flawed behavior as being cured and healthy, you taking the easy route instead of facing the real deal here, you are just sabotaging your own liberation. And ED has never taken so much life out of me. It's not a joke, and that war can last a freaking lifetime for some undiagnosed, unawakened individual. I'm sharing this story because I know many girls nowadays are masking an eating disorder, calling the way they behave healthy when it's just distorted. Skinny culture is so toxic. Skinny culture is an idea that makes you question your worth and separates you from your true self. It takes away a lot of your life energies. And you always end up alone by yourself because you can't hang out with other people. Your condition makes you want to stay at home. It's a demon keeping you stuck, keeping you away from living life fully, making you to loop the same cycle over and over and over again until you're sick of yourself, until you find something deeper within you, until you ask the question of what the meaning of life is, until you reach your hand out wanting to get help from God, from Source, from the universe, or whatever you call it, wanting to touch something deeper, and that is within you all the time, that is perfect, that makes you perfect just for being who you are. But it's a choice, it's waking up to the lies, it's a desire to change for the better, wanting your sanity, your quality of life, more than a distorted beliefs. We are busy surviving our compulsions, our illusory standards, which were imprinted on us by society, family, friends, teachers, or whoever, while we neglect our own selves. But why? Because we thought we are flawed? And being flawed is weak? Being different makes you an outsider? Being not good at things makes you unworthy? And so we cover up those flawed parts or trying to fix them obsessively? When the rehab doctors reach out to my school explaining to my teachers why Cindy can't attend classes because she has trouble eating and is now in rehab to fix that, I was never more exposed and seen like this before. Like when I got back, the teachers looked at me like I was some fucking alien or something. Like that's how I felt, really. I felt ashamed. I felt like I was being ridiculed. Having a conversation with teachers felt just stupid, even when it was just genuine care and kindness. I took it as rude and offensive. Like, how dare you talk to me like that? Like I was some weird species or something. Okay, sorry. My ED brain was just taking things differently back then. Cause nobody just gets it. I mean, of course not. There were days when we as a class went on trips or stayed in a classroom to eat breakfast together. I would be the only one who didn't eat. And honestly, I didn't care that I was the only one. I just felt uncomfortable sitting there and watching them eat. I would rather have stayed home for that hour and gotten some sleep, honestly, because I was just so done with life. But that would have been considered skipping class. And I wouldn't do that. I was the good girl who didn't skip classes. So I just dragged myself through that hour. And the teacher would make faces. One time I also got confronted by a female teacher who really gave me some attitude. It was not cool. Like, can you guys just leave the fuck me alone? I have my own war going on, and you guys are not helping me by literally forcing me to eat. I think they just thought it was that simple. But it's not. It's like a parasite eating you from the inside, and you don't know how to save yourself from being eaten or how to stop it. That's how it feels. It makes you mad. It makes you go insane. Oh, and I also got into a lot of conversations with my teachers regarding my shitty grades. And I was just genuinely almost obsessively trying to get better, to learn more, to just do better. Literally. Yet I felt like the teacher was looking at me thinking, well, maybe you should try harder because your method isn't working. I mean, that's just me interpreting and imagining. I don't know if it's true, but the way they looked at me carried some quiet judgment. Or maybe that's just me judging myself because every person is a fucking mirror. But at the end of the day, I just didn't have the energy or brain capacity to really function like I used to. Memorizing things or just even keeping myself warm was a fucking chore. It's not a joke. I wasn't really capable of getting better because my body was in constant fight or flight mode. I didn't feel safe within myself. I didn't have the capacity to just chill, relax, and think clearly. The past me was super happy, energetic, and just enjoying life. Yet here I was, completely devastated, because that was just a mask. The good thing is, I no longer had people comparing themselves to me, because I was so weak in energy and brain capacity that nobody gave a fuck about my grades anymore. I was alone most of the time and didn't really socialize. I just had a couple friends, if I can even call them friends, who stayed around out of pity. But I had one friend whom I became pretty close with because we both struggled mentally until I, sadly enough, recently ended the friendship. But even though I couldn't keep up with good grades, I still got attention for my looks, for my art, for the exceptions I got in sports, which made some girls pretty jealous or made them question whether it was a little unfair. At the age of exactly 18 years old, I also started to take on a side job working in the supermarket. It was 2 times per week after school, of course. The job was physically tiring for my weak body because I was always restocking heavy goods. Yet, I kept enduring. That was a thing I was always great at. Enduring the mental stress from school, enduring the war between myself and the physical exhaustion. And I wanted to work so desperately because the financial situation at home wasn't great. My dad hadn't had a stable job anymore, so he was applying and reapplying to places. And actually, I did it all for him because he struggled to apply online. he struggled to use the internet. So I was the one who needed to help him. Otherwise, who's going to do that? But my dad never felt a real urgency to find a new job because he thought the government would give him money anyways. He could just relax and go on with his life for a while my mom was just going crazy. Like, what are you even talking about? We are living off the government. Never felt she was safe with this man, in this marriage in general. Like, guys, why is it so hard to just find someone nowadays who loves to provide for their woman and family without being narcissistic? My dad was always like that. Every time he appraised us with that line, "You all eat from me." So we as kids and his wife needed to obey, otherwise we would end up in huge fights. My mom and I were just genuinely praying that he finds something, aka that I find something. Hope is all we have. I was a walking mess, yet I still finished school with shitty grades. I was so fucking obsessed with wanting to graduate because I thought if I failed, I would be a complete loser. Now that I have been out of school for so freaking long, I couldn't care less about a degree. It's a fucking paper that means nothing to me other than giving me trauma. Literally. But back then, I chased and tried and cried so hard at every single bad grade I got because I was really trying. I learned so much, yet I know so little. And I was constantly cold, constantly overstressed, constantly overwhelmed, underslept, meaning 3 to 4 hours every day from Monday to Friday, and underfueled. I was at war against myself, against making it through school, and against anyone who looked down on me. Like I was a freaking creep, an outsider, a weirdo. I wasn't begging for attention at all, yet all the attention kept coming back to me. When I was in my healthy years, if I can call it, I said that people constantly compared themselves to me. So every time we got a test back, some of my classmates needed to know what grade I got, as if my grade is worse than yours, you feel better about yourself. It's so messed up that you feel better about yourself when I'm worse than you. When I was at my most miserable, people also made me feel special. Special treatment in certain classes, special exceptions, some teachers giving me kinder grades. Like yes, but why? So unfair, they would think. So after my sudden disappearances into rehab, people having this urge to compare their grades with mine faded. Because after rehab, I made a decision to immediately put my test or exam paper into my folder, saying that I didn't want to see the grade I had just received at school. But deep down, I knew I had gotten a very terrible grade, and I was just simply ashamed to let other people know or see how badly I was doing in school. Like, that's genuinely how I felt. Useless, dumb, and like someone who couldn't do anything right. And also, I just didn't want anyone asking about my grades, so I put the paper away as soon as I got it. And yes, I couldn't look at my own fucking grades at school because I was scared people would ask me what I got. Like, what the hell? So stupid. As if I had no right to keep my own things private. And oh, I forgot to mention that this comparing thing happened not only at school, it also happened every time we had a family gathering on my father's side. My father has a big sister who's my aunt, and she has 2 children as well. but they are both older than me, of course. Every time we met, my two cousins would constantly ask me about my grades in school. They would ask me about my report card average. Like, why the fuck do they need to know in the first place? We don't go to the same school. We are not in the same grade. So why do you guys always need to ask me about my stuff whenever we meet? Like, do you guys feel better or more powerful about yourselves when I'm doing worse than you guys? Why can't we just look at the person as a person instead of judging someone based on numbers that say nothing about who that person is? And why can't we be equally good? Why is their ego so inflated that they need to know if they're doing better than me? And so the question becomes, why did I feel ashamed whenever I got worse grades? Well, because I felt like I had to fight for my family's legacy. Who wants to end up looking like a fool or a loser? I was sick of people looking down on me. Yet every time I got a bad grade, I would lie about them just to maintain an image. I didn't want to be ashamed to my family, especially to my mom. If even my father couldn't be supportive toward my mom, then at least I, as her daughter, couldn't show an image of weakness to my father's family. And yes, it was indeed messed up. It wasn't a family. It was all about competition, comparisons, and constantly picking at your inadequacies. And don't even get me started on comparing height. Man, at school it was like that, and with my family it was like that too. Constantly hearing, oh, you should eat more, go swimming more, go jogging more, drink more milk, eat more dairy and cheese so you grow taller. And every time I met my cousins, they would immediately stand next to me just to compare our heights, and then my aunt and uncle would make comments. Oh, you haven't grown. Do more of this and that and then you'll grow taller. At school, it was the fucking same. I was the smallest one, and there was always some comment about my height. Like, just let me be. And on the other hand, I don't care about my cousins' grades. I don't care what they can do. I don't care about any of that. I don't ask them about those things. So why are they so interested in knowing everything about me? You're not genuinely trying to get to know me, are you guys? Why is it so hard to just have a genuine conversation with someone that isn't all about numbers, money, and titles? Why can't we talk about a subject we are both interested in instead of talking about surface level things? One of the reasons why humans are getting lonelier and lonelier is because we feel like we are not enough for the person standing in front of us. We think we are flawed, that we are not enough, and so we become ashamed of our inadequacies. We want to fit in, so we hide the parts of ourselves that don't seem acceptable or strong. We'd rather distance ourselves from people than show our true selves. Because like I said, we are ashamed of who we truly are. It's always about being better, being richer, being smarter, being more into society. Because being more is praised. It's the ideal. And so real connections have become scarce because we feel like we can't trust anyone with our true identity. The moment we show up as ourselves, we risk people judging us, making fun of us, or simply looking down on us. We get so tired of that shit that we'd rather not open up at all, or we put on this fake version of ourselves because it keeps us safe. Or we just stay alone by ourselves. And that's how people call you like, you are a creep for not having friends. I mean, if I can't find the right one because I'm not vibing with other people's energy, then what's the point of having friends at all? And that's how I survived those family gatherings without damaging my family's image. Literally. If there is a degree for not speaking up for myself, I would get that. If there is a degree for not showing my real emotions, I would fucking get that. If there is a degree for people pleasing, I would get that too. Hiding my genuine feelings and saying nothing was my jam, literally, to the point where I couldn't do it anymore and had a complete mental breakdown. Me bawling my eyes out during my oral high school graduation exam. Yes. Many teachers looked at me, some with care and some with a quiet judgment, and I had never shown this vulnerable and fragile version of myself ever before. It was all the emotions I have suppressed for so long, and it found its way exactly where I had my exam. Like, wow. It was so traumatizing to expose myself like that, like an internally broken kid at the age of almost 19 years old. I just wanted to hide myself. I didn't want to be that seen. It was my nightmare. After graduation, that's when I deleted all my contacts and never wanted to be seen by any past person that I was in contact with. And at this time, my anxiety was at its peak because every time I went outside and saw someone I knew from a distance, I would freak out. All I wanted was to hide and never be recognized by anyone again. Yes, I was that shit scared and that paranoid from all those past experiences. It was just too much, literally. And finally, my healing began when I had the time to sit with myself, to heal from all that trauma and exposure. Being out of school was the beginning of me seeking the truth and seeking myself. That's when I realized the only thing I truly needed wasn't outside of me, it was just me, being there for myself. Spirituality became the healer of my life. Faith in something greater than the ego self became the healer of my life. Meditation became my healer, and the more questions I had, the more I resented the concepts of society, of money, of studying, of jobs, of titles, of illusory beliefs, and of beliefs from my family and peers. I no longer chase what society wants. I only chase what I want. I chase me because I can't function properly if I'm constantly at war with myself. I only have myself. Why have I become my own biggest enemy, my own biggest threat? Like, every egoistical desire and lack mentality comes from myself. Every feeling of not being worthy or enough comes from myself. Every need of wanting validation from the outside world because I'm not capable of validating myself, of seeing myself, of owning myself comes from myself. But why? Why? Yes, of course, some of it is because of upbringing, because of early programming. But now that I'm older, I have the choice to challenge the norms and the beliefs. And I will not stay stuck here, playing small, playing inside this illusory box that society puts me in. I want to move higher, and I will move higher, transcending the limitations, the beliefs of my ego, of society, of early programming, and do what's needed in this world, and what feels right to my soul. If I feel limited, if I feel restricted, I will rebel against it. This time, being a rebel for what is true and not rebelling for my own sickness that I couldn't see back then. And I really felt like I needed to share my story with you. So I hope it can help you, and I hope it makes you feel less alone. Society is wrecked. Standards are wrecked. Social media is wrecked. Your ego is fucking wrecked. Early programming is wrecked. The only thing that isn't wrecked is the essence within you. if you want to know who you really are and what you came here to do, get familiar with your real self instead of the personality you've built and masked yourself with for so fucking long. We never give ourselves the time to sit with ourselves because we are busy surviving this world. But no, you have the choice to stop and listen to yourself. And please stop judging someone and yourself based on actions taken out of a wound, out of a body size, out of a title, out of whatever job they have, you have, out of an appearance. Because none of that makes you, you. It doesn't make them the real them. It's just a character we all play. Who we are under all those layers, that's who we are. And you never know what lies beneath the person, because under all the shit we accumulate is the most beautiful, divine layer you've never discovered. And that's the real you. And that's also the real them. So no more categories, no more separations, no more illusions and chasing. Seek the fucking truth and wake up to yourself. I didn't know I needed these pressurized environments to learn my lessons and find myself. Yet here I am. I'm still far away from who I want to be, but I embrace the process and I know it will only get better and I'll get wiser every day. Thank you so much for listening to my very long personal story that's all over the place. I'm sorry. If this video helped you in any way, be sure to like and subscribe because it helps push this video out to more people who need to hear this. And your support truly helps keeps this channel going. I love you so much and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.